They've had us for forever. We got something to chase. These are not the words of a bitter rival, but of a young man staring at a painful truth within his own country's legacy. This is 22-year-old tennis prodigy Ben Shelton, and when he says they, he's talking about the women of American tennis. Specifically, he's talking about stars like the reigning French Open champion Coco Gauff, who can talk smack about her Grand Slam prowess with the full weight of victory behind her, while the men, well, the men can't say a thing. Because for American men's tennis, the last 2 decades have been a barren desert, a major title drought of biblical proportions. The last American man to lift a Grand Slam trophy was Andy Roddick, all the way back at the 2003 US Open. Let that sink in. A child born on the day of Roddick's victory would now be old enough to legally drink, a fully fledged adult who has never witnessed a countryman hoist one of the 4 most coveted trophies in the sport. In sporting terms, that's an eternity, a gap that has transformed from a mere statistic into a national talking point, a heavy, invisible crown of thorns passed down from one generation of hopefuls to the next. So, what happens when a young player with a rocket of a serve, a lefty's wicked spin, and the infectious confidence of a seasoned champion steps onto the scene, not just acknowledging this drought, but framing it as pure, unadulterated fuel? Today, we are diving deep into the story of Ben Shelton, the man widely seen as the heir apparent, the one poised to finally end the long, agonizing wait. We'll break down his stunning, almost prophetic rise through the ranks, explore the crushing weight of a nation's expectations, and analyze the colossal challenge that lies ahead as he prepares for the US Open, a tournament that could finally rewrite the story of American men's tennis. Welcome to The Chase. Ben Shelton's statement is a refreshingly blunt admission of a long, uncomfortable reality. While the women's side of American tennis, with legends like Serena and Venus Williams, and modern champions like Sloane Stephens and Coco Gauff, has been a consistent factory of champions, the men's side has been plagued by near misses and heartbreaking what-ifs. The towering shadow of Roddick's 2003 victory looms large over every American male player who steps onto the court at a major. It's a legacy that is both inspiring and deeply suffocating. But Shelton, with his youthful energy and fearless, almost joyful approach to pressure, seems to wear it differently. He sees the success of Gauff and her predecessors not as a source of inadequacy, but as a target, a benchmark, a clear, undeniable goal to hunt down. And his hunt, thus far, has been nothing short of spectacular. This isn't just a story of potential. It's a story of results that seem to be unfolding from a pre-written script of destiny. His momentum has been sensational, a rapid ascent that has left the tennis world buzzing. It all kicked off with a jaw-dropping, out-of-nowhere run to the semifinals at the 2023 US Open, where he announced his arrival on the world's biggest stage with his thunderous serve and his now famous, dialed-in celebration. But then, as if to prove it was no fluke, he cemented his status as a true contender with another incredible push to the semifinals at the 2025 Australian Open, proving his game travels and that his power is a threat on any surface. The milestones just kept coming. In a moment that felt like a true passing of the torch, he secured his very first Masters 1000 title at the Canadian Open, becoming the youngest American to achieve such a feat since the legendary Andy Roddick himself did it at Indian Wells all the way back in 2005. This incredible run propelled him to a career-high world ranking of number 6 in August of 2025, firmly planting his flag amongst the sport's absolute elite. If you're feeling the hype build and believe this new generation is on the brink of something truly special, do us a favor and hit that like button to show your support for this incredible chase. But Shelton's breakthrough is about so much more than just winning matches. It's about a fundamental shift in mindset that is rippling through American tennis. He's brought a new, vibrant, almost collegiate energy back to the often solitary professional tour. He speaks with a maturity that belies his years about the inherent value of facing the absolute best players in the later rounds of tournaments. For Shelton, a tough loss isn't a setback, it's a masterclass. He views every high-pressure encounter as a precious opportunity to diagnose his own weaknesses, to gather data, to learn, and to forge himself into a tougher, more resilient competitor under the brightest lights. He actively embraces the fire, knowing it's the only crucible that can turn raw iron into championship steel. This unique combination of explosive talent and stoic mental fortitude hasn't gone unnoticed. Peers and pundits alike are singing his praises. ESPN has already described him as being poised to be the next big thing in American men's tennis, a label that has been a curse for many before him, but one he seems to carry lightly. Seasoned analysts consistently rank him alongside established top 10 stars like Taylor Fritz and Alexander Zverev as one of the few players with a realistic shot at Grand Slam glory, especially at the US Open, where the home crowd can become a tangible force. However, for every voice of unbridled optimism, there is a chorus of cautionary reality, a sobering reminder of the brutal nature of Grand Slam tennis. The path to a major title is a treacherous, exhausting two-week marathon, and the ghosts of past American failures are a constant reminder of how difficult this specific journey is. Even Shelton, despite his meteoric rise, has tasted the bitterness of that reality. At the 2025 Australian Open, his magnificent run was brought to a decisive halt in the semifinals by the formidable world number 1, Jannik Sinner. That single match was a perfect microcosm of the challenge that lies ahead. It showcased both how far Shelton has come and the final brutal gap he still needs to close. He can hang with the best, he can out-hit the best in stretches, but beating them from start to finish when it matters most is another level of execution entirely. Fan commentary online reflects this delicate balance of excitement and learned pessimism. The consensus is clear. Shelton's raw talent is undeniable. His serve is an elite, game-breaking weapon, a thunderbolt that can win him points against anyone on the planet at any time. But winning a slam requires so much more. It demands unwavering consistency over 7 grueling best-of-5 set matches. It requires deep tactical nuance, the ability to problem-solve mid-match when your A-game is being neutralized, and it requires almost inhuman clutch execution in the high-leverage moments that decide championships. And that's before you even consider the draw. The men's tour is currently a landscape dominated by a pair of young titans. To win a major, Shelton will almost certainly have to navigate a minefield stacked with the likes of the aforementioned Jannik Sinner and the Spanish phenom Carlos Alcaraz. These two players have recently asserted their dominance over the sport, creating a duopoly at the top that is incredibly difficult to penetrate. They are the final bosses of modern tennis, each presenting a unique and formidable puzzle. Yet, Shelton remains unfazed, clear-eyed, and relentlessly driven. Fresh off his Canadian triumph, he laid out his simple but profound approach: embrace the early tests, stay relentless in his signature aggression, and allow the scars of past battles to sharpen his edge for future wars. He is not just hoping to win, he is actively building himself, match by match, into a player who is incapable of being intimidated. And crucially, he is not on this quest alone. This is not a solo mission into enemy territory. Shelton is the charismatic frontman for a supportive and deeply talented generation of American peers, all pushing each other to new heights. Players like Taylor Fritz, the established American number 1 with his own Grand Slam final experience, Frances Tiafoe, the ultimate showman with a game of pure magic, Tommy Paul, the gritty all-court warrior, and Sebastian Corda, the smooth, elegant ball striker. Together, they form a new vanguard of American tennis. They share the burden and the dream. As Tommy Paul astutely notes, despite narrowing the competitive gap with their European counterparts in week-to-week tour events, the American men remain overshadowed by that one glaring omission, a major title. But there are sparks of hope everywhere. Fritz's own run to the US Open final was a massive moment, a breakthrough that ignited belief across the board, proving that an American could once again compete on the final Sunday of a slam. It's this collective momentum, this shared hunger, that makes this era feel different. It feels like a turning point is not just possible, but imminent. Shelton's words about chasing the women's dominance ring less like resignation and more like a powerful declaration of intent. It's motivation in its purest form, and the advice from the last man to hold the trophy, Andy Roddick, still echoes 20 years later. Evolving your tactics, not just relying on raw talent, will be the key to ultimate success. This is the final piece of the puzzle that Shelton and his entire generation must solve. In that sense, Ben Shelton isn't just chasing his own personal breakthrough, he's chasing a mantle. He's chasing the end of a 2-decade drought. He is on a mission to reignite the legacy of American men's tennis and to prove that the inevitable, as he so confidently phrases it, may finally be within his powerful reach. The draw for the US Open takes place on the 21st of August, and the entire tennis world will be watching to see what path lies ahead. Who will stand in the way of Shelton and his quest for that elusive, history-making title? Will this finally be the year the drought ends? The story is reaching its climax, and you won't want to miss a single moment as this chase for glory unfolds. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you get our full breakdown of the draw and can follow along with us every step of the way.